Hi, everyone. Happy Monday, and special hello to all of my night owls. Some of us, myself included, have been posting about our experiences of love, which is very wonderful. I'm a huge romantic myself, so I just wanted to share something that I've been thinking about in reflecting back over my own relationship history as well as the experiences of many of my gender creative clients and friends. And this is how our inner experience of not feeling safe in the world can impact our romantic relationships. So maybe you can identify with this. So we've talked a lot in here about how many of us can feel alone in the world as a gender expansive person when your experience is rarely reflected back to you and you are told by your society that you don't exist and you feel like you don't belong anywhere living in a binary world. And how many of us can feel like the world is an unsafe place for gender creative people. And we are certainly given plenty of examples of the kind of threats to our physical safety that our community can experience. And in addition to that, it can be really hard to feel emotionally safe when, as a community, we really have experienced just so much rejection and loss. And so, where do we turn to find a refuge where we can feel safe and loved? And for many of us, this place is in our romantic relationships. So, being in a relationship is a main way that many of us have chosen to receive love and to feel safe, since that can be hard to find in the broader community. And, we can feel so relieved to have found a loving place to land that we don't really notice the impact that our not feeling safe in the world is having on our romantic relationships. So, for instance, do you feel dependent upon your partner because that is the only place that you feel safe? This can put a lot of pressure on relationships. So maybe you turn to your partner for everything because it's hard to count on other people. And this can create some power imbalances that can cause stress and suffering for both partners. Maybe you're feeling unsafe in the world. You can quickly be triggered to feel unsafe also with your partner. And so this can create some conflict and diminish intimacy. And, maybe that the relationship is not really the best match for you, but you feel like you have to take what you can get. And, it can be hard for us to find lasting, loving relationships. I don't necessarily have a lot of good examples of those kind of partnerships. And so maybe you know that you should leave the relationship, that you are settling for less than what you want, but the prospect of not having that safe refuge, creates terror and anxiety, which maybe makes you want to hold on even more tightly. So for myself, for much of my life, then I felt like I needed to work really hard for the love that I got and to constantly compensate the people in my life for dealing with me because I knew that I was complicated and that felt like a lot to ask of people. And so I felt like, in order to have love, then you have to work really hard to please other people. And so I brought this endless striving to my romantic relationships as well. And it ended up creating a lot of resentment. I felt resentful, certainly, as well as, sorrow and despair that I couldn't just be loved exactly as I was. And instead, I was always striving to prove myself, believing on some level that love was fundamentally conditional due to all the rejection that I had experienced. And interestingly, it also made my partners feel resentful because they were not asking for such hard work. And so oftentimes, all of my striving created barriers to our closeness that I didn't realize at the time. And so, if you are moving through life feeling on guard and feeling like it's not safe to be yourself, then you are likely hiding a lot of aspects of yourself from others. Maybe you don't really let people get to know you very deeply because you anticipate their judgment or their rejection. And maybe you've just been hiding for so long that you don't even realize it anymore because you're used to secrets. So, for many of us, for our own survival growing up, then we really had to cultivate a very active inner worlds because we really needed to fiercely hang on to a sense of self that was continually being denied by the external world. And so we can unconsciously bring these habits of secrecy and hiding to our romantic partnerships without realizing it, and undermining trust, and leaving us wondering why there's not greater intimacy and satisfaction. And maybe you desperately want to be seen and known, but it just doesn't feel safe, so it's hard to allow yourself. So welcome to Aaron and Stacy and Harrison, my late night folks. If my comments offered any illumination about your relationship patterns, the three of you, feel free to post a comment or a question now. And those of you who are watching later, share your insights with the group. What's been your experience of love, and how has being a gender expansive person impacted that? And if you're tired of feeling fundamentally apologetic for who you are, or settling for less than what you want in relationships, or having your lack of safety in the world undermine your romantic life, then reach out and send me a private message. Let me know what's going on. So until then, I do hope that some of you who are in the Denver area will consider submitting a application for a TED Talk. So the application deadline has been extended to January 19th. And so on this Message Monday, then, what is your big idea that is just waiting to be released to the world? So I'll pause for a moment if anybody wants to put in a comment. Otherwise, I hope that you have a very wonderful evening and that your week is off to a great start. And I will check in with you again in a couple of days. All right, take care.